What's up guys, it's Victoria from Under Victoria's Spell, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about my June monthly reading wrap-up. I am late to posting this, so I do apologize, but I want to talk about the books that helped me get out of my reading slump and just give you all my reading wrap-up. I also have Finn here and we're playing with his toys. Okay, so the first book that I want to talk about is Close Quarters by Candy Steiner, and this book was so good. I gave it 5 stars. It truly helped me get out of my reading slump. As you know, Candy Steiner is kind of hit or miss for me. I had read A Love Letter to Whiskey and I didn't enjoy that book, but I've heard very good things about Close Quarters. I knew it was an age gap romance, a billionaire romance, and a travel romance, and I absolutely loved this book. It was so good, it was so romantic, and it was a little taboo, but who doesn't love a good taboo book? I know I do. This follows our heroine as she is dropping off her boyfriend for him to go work on this cruise ship, and as she is saying goodbye, she takes a picture of the CEO who owns the boat, and he actually ends up giving her a job, and so she gets to travel all around the world for the summer. And just the way that she talks about taking pictures and traveling, it was just so beautiful. The connection between this hero and our heroine was just so electric, and you could just feel it, and I really loved it. Please check your trigger warnings if you do not like cheating or you don't want to deal with certain topics, because it does deal with those topics, and I really enjoyed it. I'm picky about if I read a cheating book, but this one I feel like was done very well. So good, and I really enjoyed it. If you have not picked up this book yet, you definitely need to. And the next book that I'm going to talk about is Next to You by Hannah Bonham Young. I did this for my video where I read Autumn's romance recommendations. This is one of her favorite books, so I had very high expectations going into this book. I did end up giving it 3.5 stars. I really see why Autumn loved this book. You can see my thoughts in my video. But for me, I could not relate to the heroine as much, and that kind of takes me out of the book. And I'm not a big fan of humor when it's not done right, and I just think that it was a little bit of a miss for me, and I didn't really feel the connection as much for our couple in the story, and I really hate that because I know Autumn loved it, but I still enjoyed the book. I just think that it was a little bit of a miss for me. Overall, you meet our heroine as she is a graphic designer. She has decided she wants to change some things up in her life, so she decides to buy a bus and reinvent it so she can live in it, and she enlists her best friend, who is a mechanic, to help her. So it is their journey of redoing this bus together, and also some sparks are starting to fly. And it was really good. I think the favorite part about this book for me really was the family connection. I really loved how the two sisters in this book and their mom really came together. I really thought that was very wholesome, and I enjoyed it a lot. So overall, it was a good read. I know so many people love this one, and I still would recommend it, but I just don't think I was in the right headspace for it at the time. And the next book I'm going to talk about was actually my buddy read pick with Eric and Autumn that we do every month. And we decided to do Mile High by Liz Tom Ford, and I believe it was my pick. I think it was my pick. I ended up giving this book 4 stars. Overall, it was really good. It was a very hyped romance. Do I think it was worthy of 5 stars? I do not, but it was still really good. I love a good sports romance, but this one, it was just something missing. I don't know if it was because I was listening to it in an audiobook and I just wasn't connecting with the narrators, but it wasn't a 5 star, but it was still very enjoyable. It follows our heroine as she is a flight attendant for this hockey team, and of course she meets the most arrogant hockey player on board, and it is their story. I really did enjoy their banter. I thought that their banter was very funny in the beginning. I thought it was done so well. And I really loved the dog aspect in this story. I think that because I'm a dog mom, I love anything about dogs. And the heroine, in her free time, she worked at an animal shelter, and it was just so cute and so wholesome. And our hero, he ends up getting a dog from there, and those were just some of my favorite moments in the book, and just seeing them as a family. Really enjoyed that. And I love that our hero had such a sensitive side to him. And what kind of threw me off guard was him just not wanting to show his true self in the public eye. And it just really hurt me for him because he was such a good, genuine guy. Overall, the book was really good. The chemistry between the characters was great. It just wasn't like best book of all time. I am going to continue reading more of Liz Tom Ford, but I think for a buddy read pick, it was pretty good, but it wasn't the best book of all time. And the next book that I'm going to talk about is Before We Were Strangers by Renee. I'm not even gonna say her last name. I know I will butcher it, but it'll be here on the screen. This was another buddy read pick that we did. I cannot remember if this was Erica or Autumn's. I believe it was Erica's. I had high hopes going into this because, you know, I had seen good things about this book, and whenever we started talking about if this was what we were gonna pick for our buddy read, I was like, okay, I'm getting excited for it. Seems like a second chance romance to me. I gave this book 1 star. I did not like this book whatsoever. I think when I first read it, I was generous. I gave it 2.5 stars. And then after talking to Autumn and Erica, I was like, okay, this is a 1-star read for me. I did not like this book. It was so problematic for me. The writing for me was all over the place. So no, it was not the right one for me. So this follows our hero and our heroine as they meet in college, and they become very close, and they kind of, you know, they fall in love, yada, yada, yada. And you get flashbacks from before and present day, and it was just all over the place. I really just disliked how, because the heroine and the hero were poor, what they did to get money. I am a squeamish person, so if that tells you anything, I did not enjoy that, and I just thought that it was very, like, just not the right one for me. I thought the way that they ended things was horrible. The present day and why they broke up, all over the place, and what our heroine did in her present time and who she lived her life with was just a no for me. I don't know how to talk about it without going into spoilers, but if you like a toxic romance, this will be a right one for you. If you like a book that's a little bit all over the place, then you might like this romance. But to me, I just did not think that it was very well written. I was not connected to the heroine or the hero. The hero was very whiny for me, and I'm a very lenient person when I listen, you know, when I read books. I feel like I'm not too much of a judger, but oh my gosh, this one was just not good. No. And I think Autumn and Erica would agree with me. I have not, I don't think, finished their wrap-up videos yet, because I didn't want it to kind of go with what I was gonna say, but this was just a no for me, unfortunately. Okay, so going off of that 1 star, we're gonna talk about my 2 favorites of the month. And of course, they're small town goodness, and I just cannot wait to talk about them. So first up, we're gonna talk about the Queen, Elsie Silver, and her new release, which was Reckless. Y'all, this cover is gorgeous. It just came in, and I'm so glad that I have a physical copy of this. Elsie Silver just knows how to write a small town romance. She knows how to write a hero that is just going to make you swoon. This was so good. This was book 4 in this series. Chef's kiss, 5 stars. Theo Silva, oh my gosh, you are making a run after my own heart. Kate is still my number 1, but Theo is right behind. Oh my gosh, I was very excited for this romance because we were getting Winter story, and I love a good redemption story, and I was so excited for Winter, and Elsie did it correctly. I really felt for Winter in this book. I really just admired her strength and her journey that she had from the time she was young to when she was in her marriage with her ex-husband to where she was as a person today. I thought it was beautifully written. Theo, I think, was a perfect match to put her with, and I thought he was such a well-rounded character. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Very, very lovely. I will tell you, please check your trigger warnings for this book. It does deal with sensitive topics such as miscarriage and abuse, and in a different circumstance when it comes to abuse. So please just make sure you check your trigger warnings. Oh my gosh, but overall, so good. This is like my Christmas morning is whenever I read Elsie Silver. If you have not read her yet, you have been living under a rock, and you need to get out and read these books. They are so good, and I feel like each of the story throughout this Chestnut Spring series gives you something different, and I think this one really just, I don't know, was a breakthrough for so many people, and a lot of people could relate to this book. And I was just rooting for Winter and Theo the entire time, and I'm so glad we got their story. I'm excited for the last book. I'm sad that we're going to be leaving Chestnut Springs, but I'm very excited to see what's next for Elsie, but cannot wait to read the last book. Please, please pick it up. And the last book that I'm going to talk about is another small town charm for me, and that is Crimson River by Devoney Perry. This was a 5-star read for me, or I think I gave it 4.5 stars actually, but this was still such like one of my favorites of the year. The cover is gorgeous. I love how Devoney Perry does her covers for the series. I think they are very pretty and gives you a little bit insight to Quincy, Montana, which this is set in. This is book, I think, 5 in the series. We also have one more to come out. This follows Lila, and she is the coffee shop owner, and I don't feel like I got a lot of connection to Lila throughout the other books, so I was kind of a little bit of a mystery going into this one with Lila, but she was such a great character. She was so strong, and I really loved her hero in this story as well. It was a little bit of a mystery with him, and I just thought that it was so well written. Devoney Perry did such a great job. The opening of this book where Lila kind of gets sent off because she needs a break from her coffee shop, and she kind of runs into someone, and I thought that was going to be her hero of the book, and things changed real quick because she got herself in a very dangerous situation that caused our hero, a cop, to come into town to look for a man who has killed his family. So this book, I was like, boom, 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 knocking it out. I loved this. Their story was so beautiful. I love the strength that they both gave each other. I love their connection, and I was just so intrigued, not with their story, but what was going on with this man who has killed his family, supposedly. I mean, I was just connected and hooked from the beginning. It's so well written. Absolutely loved it. It was a 4.5-star read for me, and I cannot wait to finish up the Eden series at the end of this year as well. And it'll be sad to leave it, but I'm so glad that I started this series this year and got to be part of Quincy, Montana. That's all that I have today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I apologize about the delay in this video. but I'm hoping that I'll be on top of July's wrap up. Let me know what you read in the month of June, what you're currently reading, or what book you're looking forward to. I would absolutely love to know, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.